Hi, this is Rachel at Tarot Dreams, and I believe that there are signs and synchronicities in our daily lives that are meant to provide us with a deeper understanding on our spiritual path and guide us in this experience. I'd like to share some of my insight and messages that I have received through intuition, dreams, visions, foresight, and various channeled energies. Thank you so much for visiting my platform, and just know that I appreciate you all. As we dive into this week's messages, I'd like to remind you that there are some potential energies of things that have yet to happen that we may expect, and I will be touching on those in this week's messages. Thank you so much, and let's get started. All right, so let's go ahead and break this down. Today is October 14th, 2024, and this week I have been picking up a lot of information. More than likely, I will not be able to go over all of it, but I'm going to try to touch on some of what I thought was important. I was getting keywords: control, change, creation, courage, and connection. I was also getting non-interference, which I'm going to do a separate video on, as that is important in healing and triggers. I will be getting into that as well, but not in this one. But I was getting it, so I want to make sure that I do bring that up. I was also seeing really like I don't know, like egg-shaped spheres, but it really wasn't egg-shaped. I was getting a lot of things with that and healing. But let me skip over that. So let's go back to control, change, creation, courage, and connection. I started seeing sand dunes. Now, when I saw this, I was in a deep meditation. They did not show me the sky or the ocean or desert or anything like that. I only seen the sand dunes. And then I started to hear wind chimes. So I looked up sand dunes. Let me explain sand dunes. They're mounds of sand, and they're formed by the wind. They're usually along a beach or a desert. And what happens is they form when the wind blows. They're usually in a sheltered area behind an obstacle, but they grow and they grow as the grains of sand accumulate. And every dune has like a windward side and then like a slip face. But I was also picking up like great sand dunes, and I want to make sure I say wind chimes too, but I was picking up great sand dunes. So I went in and I looked up great sand dunes because I was feeling like a park. But what I found out, and I did not know this, Great Sand Dunes was the first national park and preserve outside of Alaska. There's like 2 in the lower 48, 1 in Colorado, and 1 actually in West Virginia. I had no clue of those. I believe the one in Colorado might be home to some of the oldest archaeological sites in the U.S., currently known to scientists. I had been picking up Colorado, not so much for archaeological sites, but I was picking up Colorado, so I did chalk that up as a synchronicity because I have been picking up a lot to do with Colorado. Maybe there'll be some information that comes out of there about, something hidden being revealed, because I keep getting that as well. But let's get back to the sand dunes. In a more spiritual sense, they represent a constant state of flux. They're impermanence and continually moved and shaped by the wind. Landscape that is constantly changing. Everything in life is transient, and only change is constant. So it's not clinging to things, old belief systems, situations, because things are destined to change and we cannot control it. We can learn to accept the constant state of flux. We can exercise courage in surrendering to what is to come. We can find where we connect with it, what our connection is with it, what this change has created within us. We must let go of the attachment and the control and flow with the rhythms of life. Some things that are coming about are going to be really hard to face because in actuality we will have no control over it. Some of us will not sit in this seat easily. Some of us will not be able to flow as easy. Sand dunes are coming to me to remind us the power of resilience in the face of adversity. They stand strong and they adapt no matter how harsh the winds of life may be. Now, I think the gift that I was getting was the wind chimes. They represent healing, divinity, protection, and wisdom. They also represent the Holy Spirit, and they serve as a reminder of God's guiding voice and a harmonizing energy. And in harmonics, you've got layered frequencies. I don't pretend to understand like the Fibonacci and the mathematical codes, or I do get into some of the geometrical things, but I'm not what you call really up to date or have a large grasp on all that. But I was getting harmonics with the wind chimes, and a harmonic like a layering energy is layered on top of each other. But I was getting the gift of wind chimes, healing, divinity, and protection. So keep that with you. Now, some say that the wind is a symbol of the Holy Spirit, that itself is an awareness within, a tangible connection. It can be soft and gentle or unpredictable, strong and unyielding, but it is a kinetic energy in action. And we have seen what strong winds can do, especially in the last several weeks. So this week I picked up, like I was saying, things being revealed. I was getting that. And then I started seeing, I'm not really sure what this means. And, I put several things down. Tell me what you think if you want. But I seen like Tom Cruise's face, just the head, just his head, like the side profile. But it was merged with a falcon. And the first thing I thought of was tomahawk. But then, Tom and a hawk. But then I thought, well, I really thought of falcons. So I Googled, because I thought, why wouldn't I see a tomahawk if that's what I was meaning to see? So, that could be used for a lot of things. It was used in the military. It was, it still could be being used. I don't know. But it could be a weapon of war, or it could be just something used in your daily life. But I wasn't sitting well with that. It wasn't, I didn't feel a resonation there. So I thought, well, I'm going to Google Tom Cruise and falcon. And interestingly enough, he is set to film a movie late in 2024. And it's going to be shot, or supposedly going to be shot, on the International Space Station, ISS, using a Falcon 9 Crew Dragon. The movie will be filmed in space in a special inflatable film studio module called the Space Entertainment Enterprise 1. I almost fell over. I was like, what is it with space? So, as I am a person who sees a lot with benchmarks, this may be the beginning of the past, bringing a new wave of space movies. Once again, the Enterprise, Star Wars, things of that nature. It may be bringing a new wave and moving forward. Interestingly enough, though, I kept seeing and kept thinking of his movie Legend. And now it didn't describe what the screenwrite was going to be about, but I kept thinking of Legend and a portal demon. And I've been getting a lot with portals and things of that nature lately, but let's just hope he returns safely, because I'm not really sure why I get it, and lots of times it is a benchmark, a change, a catalyst. So this could be a change or a catalyst in the film industry. Now, I've also been picking up Lemuria all week, and that has been rather strong. And I was getting that, it was wiped out by huge waves. I got that it was a surge after an eruption. Some say the Atlanteans did it. I think it could be both. It could have been a volcano. It could have been something like that. But I kept seeing red hot stars that were falling from the heavens. Now, I got that some seers had seen it coming, and that, I don't know why I was getting this, people, but I'm going to just share it, and that babies were being removed from the island. And I got that there were 3 types of star people who compromised Lemuria, possibly more, and I kept getting angels of the sea. And I looked it up. There is a reference to that, to the Altair. I'm not familiar. I'll have to do some more research on that later. But the angels of the sea. But they all lived in harmony with the earth. They were healers. They knew ley lines, grid work. Most did not want to leave, and they stayed, even though they knew that destruction was coming. But they keep coming back and incarnating. And it's usually in times of devastating, when there's huge losses of life. They bring an awareness, a catalyst of change, a consciousness change among people. So that was coming to me. And then I started getting historical references to the White House and the fire in 1814. And that it had been the only time that D.C. had been invaded by a foreign military. It was the British. And it occupied D.C. Now, the funds were approved by Congress to rebuild, and it was overseen by the original builder. You can Google all this information. And it was finally reopened on New Year's Day in 1818. Now, why do I bring it up? Because I keep seeing a scene out of a book I read play out. And it was Mitch Rapp. If anybody doesn't know who it is, Google him. In a series that Vince Flynn was writing before he died, and then somebody else took it over. I read the Vince Flynn series. I haven't read any since he passed away. But I kept getting the Mitch Rapp. There was one called Transfer of Power, and it was a pretty intense book. There was a lot of damage, loss of life, hostages, but it was within the White House. And he saved who he could, but it turned out to be somebody that was driving it was somebody within his own government branch. You really need to Google all that. I don't want to say it. I don't feel like getting flagged. But it keeps popping up into my energy hub. I'm not really sure, but I keep getting that similar feeling about courage, and that courage will be needed. So anyway, I'm going to probably go get some more wind chimes and hang them all over the place, because they are the gift of God and they ward off these lower vibrations. But I want to read something to you, because the grain of sand and the sand dunes stuck out. And this was written by Robert William Service, I believe. You can look it up. It's a grain of sand. It's if a starry space no limit knows, and doesn't succeed to the sun, There is no reason to suppose our earth is the only one. Mid countless constellations, cast a million worlds may be, with each a god to bless or blast and steer to destiny. Just think, a million gods or so to guide each vital stream, with over all to boss the show, a deity supreme. Such magnitude oppressed my mind, from cosmic space it swings, so ultimately glad to find relief in little things. For look, within my hollow hand, while round the earth careens, I hold a single grain of sand and wonder what it means. Ah, if I had eyes to see and a brain to understand, I think life's mysteries might be solved in this grain of sand. So I'm going to leave you with that and leave you with your thoughts. If you have any comments, please drop them below. I appreciate your time, and if you made it this far, thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that notification, and I will see you in my next reads. God bless.